It's time for breaking bread with Papa. Hey, don't you know? Hey, it's also a show. Hey.
Did you cry at the end when you wrote the final stuff to your daughter?
Cry?
Yeah.
You talking about me?
Yeah.
Did I cry? Is that what you're asking me?
Uh-huh.
Man, I'll be honest, I haven't cried since infancy, to be honest. No, I did. And you know what was so, I did. I got really emotional when I wrote that. And when I would read it back to that's a very sad feeling though, when you're reading your own work and crying.
No,
you're touched by your own work.
Well, I'm crying reading it because I'm touched by your work. When you're writing it, it's catharsis. I mean, it's such it's just so, you're saying out loud the stuff that are deep inside you. And when you were writing these little, I have daughters, so like to read like your little missive to her, which you're writing currently, but you're going to want her to read this in 10 years, 15 years. That's a very sweet moment. That's a very...
Yeah, well,
how can you not cry?
Well, the real emotional part for me was realizing, I didn't realize till I started writing that, I kept getting asked this question about this book, like by my brother, who was like he's my guy that I go to. I'm sure you have a guy or a girl.
The one, one girl.
And these are great. What is the thesis? What's the thing that brings these things together? And like the answer at first is very obvious. It's like, well, it's me. It's my history, my body, my me-ness. But then as I got towards the end of it, when I started writing that passage in particular, I realized this is a scrapbook that I'm leaving. It's an archaeological artifact that I'm leaving behind for her, for my kid. And I didn't even know until I got to the end and started. I had a lot of realizations that happened at the end of the book about what the book was about. But that one in particular was like, I'm leaving this as an archive so that she knows like what my life was and who I was. Like my father died when I was 20.
Right.
And he was this mysterious figure with all this, very similarly, all these like sort of tribal eras in his life. And one of the things that happens when you lose a parent young is that you realize all of these questions that you maybe could have chiseled together and formulated as an adult, and go back to your elderly parent and say, Dad, what was this? Or this confused me. Or were you lying? Was I you just don't get to ask those because they're gone.
Yeah.
And so this was like, this isn't going to answer all of her questions, obviously, but it at least was like a record of who I was and how I got to the person that met her.
Yeah. Oh, it was beautiful.
I've been thinking about this a lot lately. When you have a life like mine, but when you have a life, period, when you have children, you go, because that was all I was doing, was like running from world to world. Like, what is my meaning? What is my purpose? Like, where are my superpowers? Like, what's my universe, where my people are, where I'm powerful? And then you go, fight, fun, let's have fun. My religion is fun. I want more experiences. And then you have a kid. Hopefully, when you have a kid, your feeling is like, I don't need to. I was ready to stop striving in the way I was. I was like old enough where I go like, I'm not gonna miss going to the raves anymore. I'm ready for a new experience. And then you have this kid, and you meet the kid, and you go, this is the thing. And I didn't get far past that, but now my daughter's almost 6, and I had this realization the other day. It's like you have this shift where you go, my whole life's purpose. I know what my life's purpose is. It's to like inculcate this creature with lessons and love, and send them into this world armed with all of the things they need to be armed with to have power and happiness and joyful experience of the world, but also protection. Blah blah blah. This is my purpose. And then I hadn't even gotten far enough to think about it. Then they move out. Like, you have this profound shift where you go, I know exactly what my life is. And then 18 years later, they're like, bye. And I go, now what the what?
You're right.
So maybe that's when I'll find the seven subculture is like when I'm in your position.
Yeah, you'll start baking bread.
Yeah. That's right. I think I'm a baker. Please let me be a baker.